After the initial release of the new update, Anna has made a lot of changes to all hives, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to become the best white hive with the new updated meta needed. So, without any hesitation, let's get right into the video. So, we're gonna start with Mythic to Basic. The first bee you want is Vector Bee, obviously, and you want about 23 of them. Now, that might seem like a lot, but trust me, you want tons more than before. Why? Because you get triangulates, which will make your gummy star bigger, and essentially, you need a lot of gifted Vector Bees as well, because they will generate Mark Search, which will boost your pollen marks by a lot. So, make sure you get at least 10 Vector Bees gifted. For the second, we're gonna get 7 precise bees. And why 7 precise bees? Well, because of the targets and the target practice, which is here. And this will generate you some more critical chance and some attack, I think, but it definitely helps the star so a lot. So now let's move on to precise bees. You want about 7 of them because of the precision and the target practice ability, because it will help your star so a lot more than usual. And basically you get all your conversion from the star soul, and that's why you definitely need a double passive, which we're gonna talk about later on. But for now, you want 7 precise bees just to maintain a perfect 10 times precision and a lot of attack for the star soul. Now, you do not want any spicy bees because they are kind of useless for white hives, but if you want for extra attack, or you are lacking a lot of attack, for example with your amulets, get 1 gifted spicy bee. So now let's move on to legendary bees. We would want 5 baby bees, and make sure they are not gifted, because if you do not know, gifted bees generate this token called Inspire, and if you have an Inspire token, you generate less baby love from the baby bees, and as we all know, baby bees generate baby love, which gives you more pollen for 40 seconds. So definitely get 5 baby bees, but not gifted. Make sure you get a lion bee only for the attack. The gifted bee pollen, yes, it's also very useful, but it's not really needed. Just simply get it for a 5% gifted bee pollen. The attack is not that much, but since Amulet has changed it, I would actually prefer to get an extra Vector Bee instead. So we're gonna move on to the Music Bee, which you want only 1, and make sure it's of course gifted, and you want it for the melody. And why 1? Because we're gonna talk about bee equips later on. So for now, just keep 1 gifted Music Bee, and I'll explain why if you need more. So now let's move on to Epic Bees. You want 1 gifted honeybee for the 1.5 times honey from tokens, and as you know, gummy stars generate tons of tokens, and that's how white hives mainly get their honey from. So make sure you get that because it will buff your honey from tokens. Let's move on to Shock Bee. You want 1 gifted Shock Bee for the 1.1 times white pollen, haste, and token link, but I'm pretty sure Amulet changed that from 30% white pollen to 1.1 times white pollen. So make sure you get the Shock Bee. It's not that OP anymore, but it's definitely a bee you want to get in your hive. So now let's move on to Commander Bee. You only want it for the gifted high bonus of 3% critical chance and focus. The Buzz Bomb kind of ruins this bee because it will fill your back super quickly, but as we have the 7 precise bees and the Star Soul helping us, it won't be a big problem. Let's move on to the rare bees. So now you want to get 1 gifted Stubborn Bee for a 15% ability token lifespan, because if you can't get the tokens very quickly, or you do not have a lot of haste, this bee will definitely be useful for you. You want 1 gifted Hasty Bee for the 15% player move speed. You want 1 gifted Brave Bee for the 1 bee attack, nothing else. And lastly, for the common bees, you want 1 gifted Basic Bee for the 1.2 times pollen. So now you want 1 gummy bee, obviously because it's an event bee, and it will help you a lot with the goo that you now have to get, because Gummy Star works with goo, and if you do not have a lot of goo, then you're not gonna practically get any huge gummy stars, which is the main goal of white hives. You want one gifted puppy bee only if you are upgrading your hive to a higher level with your treats, because the gifted hive bonus is going to give you more bonds from treats, which helps you out a lot when upgrading your bees to a higher level. But what should I replace it with? Well, make sure, example, replace it with a precise bee or another vector bee. I personally would recommend you replacing it with a precise bee. Now, you want one digital bee, and that is a must, because this hive is mainly based with digital bee, gummy star, and a perfect 5 out of 5 supreme star amulet. So if you do not have a perfect supreme star amulet, or you're not having a good star amulet at all and you do not have the gummy baller, this tutorial is definitely not for you. Now, you want the gifted digital bee because of the OP abilities like corrupting the field, which will definitely help you out a lot, and also the drives. And make sure you grind out all the drives, at least 100 wide drives in the digital bee. So make sure to do the Robo challenge a lot, because it will help you out tons and tons of grinding, because I'm pretty sure that the wide drives give you a gather amount. So that's a must. You want one gifted bear bee, of course. I'm not gonna say if you can't afford it then you should replace it with one vector bee. No, instead simply get bear bee, it will help you out a ton. If you do not have the bear bee, you're pretty much done. You cannot get OP boosts. Now, you want one gifted tabby bee, obviously, for all the critical power, the tabby scratch, and the tabby love. Make sure you get the tabby bee and do not replace it with any other bee. You want one gifted windy bee, because obviously it generates wide boost, but also because of all the tornado, the brain cloud, and the gifted hive bonus of 15% instant wide conversion. Now, the 2 times boost from clouds doesn't really help you that much. It'll boost a bit, but getting so much boost from clouds, this is 2 times for speaking, will instantly fill your back, but definitely get the gifted windy bee. Now let's move on to bee equips. You want one toy drum because of the gather amount and ability haste, which is very useful to stretch your triangulates to the max. You want one whistle because of the haste and the ability, which is super quit power, and it can actually buff your precision and torso a lot more. You want a snow tiara, which is optional because of the honey from tokens, but it's not really needed that much for white hives anymore. Now, you definitely want the toy horn because of the ability melody, and this is where I'm going to talk about why you only want one gifted music bee. Because if you have the toy horn and the kazoo, which I'm gonna talk about later, then you do not need that many music bees, because as you here see, you have the ability melody and the convert amount, which is not really something useful, but definitely because of the melody. Now let's talk about the kazoo, of course, which also grants you the ability melody, but as you can see, you can only put it on brave bee and shocked bee for our white hive composition, but it's still useful for melody. The smiley sticker can give up to a decent hive bonus and bee mark duration buff, up to 2% mark duration hive bonus, but you can only put it on vector bees since that bee equip is only for vector bees. So you can also get an additional paper clip if you have bee ability pollen on your bee, but as well as granting a buff to ability token lifespan. So you want a sweatband must because of the wide gather increase you can get it with it, but additionally you can get it on the digital bee, which is definitely going to boost it up with all the wide drives you have, so it's a must to get. Now we're also gonna talk about the paper angel. It's only useful if you have a high bee ability pollen, but at the same time we do not have a photon in our hive, as you can see, because mostly goo will convert your pollen. But if you want, you can add it to a shy bee or bomber bee if you can afford to place it. For example, replace it with another vector bee, but I would personally not rather get it. So now let's talk about amulets, and this is what makes a white hive good and how it makes most honey, of course, after the hive. So let's start with star amulet, and a 5 out of 5 star amulet should look like this: white pollen, critical chance, bee ability rate, and bee gather pollen, and this is a 5 out of 5. Now a 4 out of 5 should look like a 70% white pollen, up to 20% pollen, up to 7% critical chance, or up to 7% bee ability rate, and up to 70% bee gather pollen. And of course the most important part, passive gummy star and passive star soul, because they make the most honey out of a white hive. And now let's talk about the ant amulet, which you want up to 3% critical chance, up to 50% critical power, up to 30% white pollen, up to 5% pollen, and up to 30% red pollen, which is optional, but you can still get it. Now, for the stickbook amulet, you want up to 30% white pollen or up to 10% pollen. Generally, white pollen is better than normal pollen, so up to 100% token from honey. So let's talk about general discussion how to switch to a white hive. So firstly, of course, you want the gummy baller, because if you do not have it, then you're practically done for. Also, preferably the coconut belt, which will help you out a lot more. You want a good dabble passive, as we talked earlier, gummy star and star soul for a 4 out of 5 safe, about 200 trillion honey, and for a 5 out of 5 safe, at least 1 quadrillion honey or more. You want a fully gifted hive, obviously, because of all the gifted abilities that your bees will give you. 500 white drives from the digital bee can be done after switching to the white hive, but I would personally get it before. Good amulets, which we talked about earlier, and as we all know, boosting as white hives can be very difficult sometimes, and your first boost will be about 50 trillion honey. Don't worry, of course, your boost at first will become trash, but as you practice more and more with the gummy baller, your boost will get better and better each time. So I hope you really understood everything needed for a perfect white hive, and make sure to like and subscribe, because this will support me out a ton, and make sure to comment down below what you want to see next in my videos, and give me some recommendations for more videos as well. That's all, have a great day or night, and peace out.